Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM21. It's Worst to First. It's episode number 7. We finished up the first season. We're into the preseason for the next year, and we have our first update on the rankings where the teams are. Now, we started with a reputation of literally 1 of 10,000. So we were the last team on this list. New season, won the league. We're still only going to the 9th tier, so it's not like we've made rapid progress there. But how far up have we moved? It's could be a little while, or maybe we've only just climbed. You can see when you have this alphabetical set, they all essentially have the same down to there. And there we are. Oh, there's Youth Factory. That's my other team from the other series. They're still within this database. So there is Youth Factory. And let's see, where is Decathlon Gamer FC? We've climbed a good long distance, and definitely further than that other team's climbed. There we are. Gamer FC, still very much obscure, but that's a good little ways up the list. I mean, that's 15% from the bottom. I mean, that's pretty dang good. So, okay, there you go. So, season 1 in the bag. We're going to get through preseason here. We're going to check in on the team, the progress, some new staff members that we've picked up, and I'm also just curious to see how Youth Factory did. First things first, I think I might have mentioned it in the last episode near the end, but we are now professional in just our second season. It's nice having a total sugar daddy as your owner. So, we've added one more to the coaching staff, so we've gone from 5 to 6. Actually, it went from 5 to 4, and I think that might have had something to do with the level we were at and or the fact that half this year we're having facilities upgraded. Anyway, I influenced the owner to go ahead and up that from 4 to 6. So actually it was one more than what it was before. We've already filled that vacancy, and we also replaced one of our coaches. So 2 changes to the coaching staff. You can see we are the highest in the league across the board. We are filled out, though actually our staff really is not that good. Definitely not that good, but we are in a better situation than we were a year ago. Cross board, we have all of our coaching responsibilities filled out. You can see on average we're about 2 stars. And that's pretty good. Our new assistant coach, one of the 2 guys we added, Gary Kemp, is a 15 fitness. He's still not that good, but for us, that is a pretty big acquisition for a brand new team. Continental C license, coaching in the 9th tier. We took him off another team's hands, and he was quite a bit higher up. Quite a bit higher. So he's coming into coach quickness, which of course all of the players are using as their secondary training, so that we can kind of catch up on that major weakness where we're well behind the other teams on that speed factor does hurt us no matter how smart we are. If they can run circles around us, they're going to pick up goals here and there that we otherwise could stop. So that's a big acquisition as we get 3.5 stars for the first time in one of our coaching categories. The other addition is Danny Earl. Danny Earl is not much to look at. He's got the adaptability, but that doesn't mean anything. Determination, though, and discipline are there. His motivating's not that bad. I mean, his mental attributes are fairly decent. We've got him set up for attacking technical. He's only 2 stars. That's really not that good. It's really not that good, but could be far, far worse than it is. Attacking 6, mental 6, technical 4 are just tolerable rates. But one thing about this Danny Earl is we actually just picked him off from being a player coach who was an assistant manager, and he's gone into retirement to join us, coming over from Billingham Town. I kind of feel sorry for the guy because we took him out of his playing career. Certainly not at his prime or anything, but we're probably going to dump him before too long because we're trying to grow rapidly and we want to get better and better and better coaching staff as soon as we can. I did some searching. Anthony Isles still the only fitness coach that we can get our hands on. Rob Lay still the only goalkeeping coach, or at least we couldn't get any better. Depends on your definition of better. We could get about 1 single point better. That's not enough of an improvement, so I went ahead and re-signed him for this next year for now, just for the sake of why not when there's no substantial improvement. We'll keep a little bit of loyalty. So checking in on how the team looks as we come back into the preseason, and then we'll skip forward to get our game started, and then we'll see where we're at there. We could see Black Panther, making some improvement. And actually, let's go ahead and take a different view. All right, so taking the overall view approach, you could see that we're starting to pick up some points, but really only the stamina, the balance, the acceleration have come up in any sizable way. Everything is started right at a 6, and now we're just starting to climb up. So progress has actually been fairly poor, but at the same time, when you look at all of it, the big picture of all of it, they've progressed decently well in that first season, considering the lack of training and the lack of youth facilities. And the youth facilities won't impact them, but the training facilities, the lack of coaching, part-time status, all of that put together, I don't mind that they didn't progress a whole lot last season. They did progress, and that's a key piece to this. And I expect that this season, full-time and a little bit better coaching staff, I think the full-time is going to make the biggest difference. I think one other thing that absolutely could make a difference for this season, as we'll take a look at a couple more players. We've definitely seen some regression in some of the players. You can see kind of the up-down. Not terribly helpful when they're doing that up-down, and we need to get them consistently going up. But a lot of that, again, I think is coming down to the quality of what we're offering them. And so here in 6 months, really looking forward to some new facilities and hoping that it's a quite bit higher level than what we have now, so we can see some improvement and not just see them stall out. I think the big thing that can make a difference this season is if we start fixing some schedules ourselves. I do know from watching other FM players, content on YouTube, that you can get a lot more out of training with specialized schedules. Also, if you spend a little less time focusing on opponents and focusing more on your training, you can get a lot more development out of your players. We have some strong mental attributes. I don't think we need to spend a whole lot of time on that. We also seem to have a really good retention when it comes to our tactic. We're a week into the preseason. Now, no matter how good your tactic was the year before, you come back the next year and there is regression in that, and you have to relearn some specifics about the tactic. You have to develop that. You have to grow into that. So it's not automatic. You don't go straight to where you left off at the end of the season. Whether you're Manchester United, PSG, Barcelona, whoever. And yet here we are with all these model citizens. Their retention was amazing. I mean, look at how fluid they are on the tactic familiarity, which means throughout the season, we don't actually need to train our tactics a whole lot. They've got them figured out. Also, last season, they were all learning their positions. Now, we're literally down to just, I think it's 2 players. Spider-Man's still learning. We have just that. So I think it was either Star-Lord or Deadpool, one of the right backs, were still missing. I think it might have been Star-Lord. He's got that figured out now. So that's why you see that big red space in that attacking middle. Our pressing forward, Spider-Man, doesn't know the position yet, so he's rated as 2 stars there. 2 gray stars, not gold stars. We've got a lot of strong relationships, so a lot of things that weren't there last season are there now, and that's going to help carry the team this season. And if we were able to win Tier 10 with all of those things lacking, and now we come into Tier 9 with a number of those things that we didn't have a season ago, and then we still have that mental advantage, and the skill level is only going to be a little bit higher at this level. Well, our skill level is a little higher than it was at the last level, so I think we're comparable on that part, meaning I think we might cruise through this season, in which case we might speed things up, fewer episodes, but also, like I was saying, back to the training, I think we might focus our training in some specific areas to help develop the team. Now that our best coach is in the quickness department and their secondary training is in the quickness department, I do expect to see some results in there. I think we might even add a little more focused training to that. For one thing, we already saw, where is it that our players are kind of picking up? It's acceleration, it's pace, it's stamina, it's strength. Most of those who have hit in 8, they're hitting 8s in physical before they're hitting 8s elsewhere. Mental's going to carry. That's part of the fact that we have this really strong mental base. But I think our technical skills are going to lag behind a little bit. And I'm okay with that, because in these lower divisions, we don't need it as bad. But those physicals are something that's hurting us, because our opponents might not be the quickest, but they're definitely quicker than we are. Okay, that's enough of an introduction on where we're at right now. I'm going to spend some time in that training screen and come up with a couple schedules anyway. I won't use them every week, but I will start using them on a semi-regular basis and give it a shot and see if we can get a little boost to our training for this year. But again, I think the biggest factor is going to be, first off, that we're full-time, and the other biggest factor is going to be when those training facilities are upgraded, because the coaching staff is slowly improving, but it's still pretty low. A couple of weeks ago, odds had us at 50-1, 14th. We're still 14th, but the odds have improved to 33-1. I think that's part of what's showing we are growing in our technical skills at least a bit. Still well short of where we could be. I have a feeling we might be competing at the top of the league again, though. I don't see why we wouldn't. None of the Dream 11 includes us. Key players doesn't include us. We're very much an afterthought in terms of base skill. No surprise there. That's okay. We are now 1 day away from kicking off the season. Let's go ahead and get into it. And the season kicks off against Swafam. They get the first kick, and we take possession quite quickly. Only one change to the side from the primary 11 that we played with towards the end of last season, and that being Doctor Strange is out injured, and Groot already opens his account with a goal here in just the 6th minute. Nice cross, nice ball over the top. Not an easy one to complete there, and that's 4. I mean, that's a center back who just got an assist. Groot, nice little volley off the hop, and not much the keeper can do there. We'll try to come out and challenge, but there you go. We're up 1-0 already. With those preseason predictions, we're going to again come down as an overachiever this season, but I'll take it. Star-Lord now in possession into Black Panther. Gamora will find some space. Jean Grey gets a shot, and it's tipped over by the keeper this time. A little too much down the middle. But it was headed for the roof on it. Black Panther up to Nebula. Nebula tries to cross, nobody there. Ball's cleared out. one of the beautiful things about this team is with the strong mental attributes that they have, goal creation can come from just about anywhere. I have noticed during the preseason that the more focused physical training is having an impact. As that one is headed over, no power to it. Keeper should have been able to stop that one easily if it was on target. Should have. Not always at this level. We saw a lot of goals last season that had more to do with the incompetence of the opponent than it had to do with anything stellar by us. We just made fewer mistakes. Nice one ahead there. Wolverine gets to it. Oh, it's headed away. He does not get to it. Shortest man on the pitch. Not always the one you want to send across to like that. Group. Oh, close. Very close to a second. Halftime already. Dang. That half just flew by. XG nearly to a 1. 10 shots. Only 4 on target, though. 70% possession. You can see that we're picking up the pace a little bit. They're a little faster than they were. 1 to 2 attribute points better than at the beginning of last season. And that's already starting to have an impact because we were having teams run circles around us. And now they're still quicker than us, but the anticipation piece, that mental strength, we kind of get in that first step before they do. And that's almost making up for it at this point, or at least just about. Second half underway. No yellow cards. Either team. Nice quiet first half on that part. Star-Lord into Groot. Groot finds Nebula. Nebula gets the shot away. Gets enough power to it. The height was good. It was headed for the corner, but ends up drifting wide. Missed by a foot or two. It wasn't that close. And again, throwing. Star-Lord. Gamora. Gamora with the cross. Gray looked offside. Was offside. Headed it over anyway. She's probably grateful that the flag was up. Whoa, hour in already. Dang, we are just flying through this thing. Wolverine, not happy right now. What's going on, buddy? Let's go ahead and bring in Spider-Man. I figured out why Spider-Man had not figured out his position yet. Of all the players, either I missed it or it didn't stick, but Spider-Man was still training as a right midfielder. As Groot grabs his second, and that should put this game away. 15 minutes to play. It's not totally over yet. But with the level of dominance we have, we haven't really seen them with any sort of attempt yet. Hangs on as Simone gets the tackle, gets a piece of the ball, but Groot fights through it, continues on, puts it in the back of the net. Positioning was a bit off. He was 10, 15 yards further in, but that looked like Paul Pogba's goal from just the other day, midweek here. Game winner against Fulham. And it should have been blown out anyway, but Captain America, well, there's no such thing as a should be blowing the team out in the Premier League, and that's why it's the Premier League, and not, like say La Liga, where Messi goes up against League 2 talent in half of his matches. Maybe League 1, occasionally Championship. Nebula with her first goal of the season on the corner kick. White jerseys all over the place, but green jerseys pouncing on it, and it's 3-0. Groot's having a great game, but Groot's also tired. Let's see. Doctor Strange's injury is the about 3-week variety, so he'll be out for a little bit. Spider-Man, first chance of the season. Could have done better. Was just over the head of the keeper, but it was very much down the middle. 89th minute now. Black Panther also a little tired, a little demoralized. Might be a good time for a sub there. Also on a yellow card. Let's go ahead and use our last sub. Black Widow coming in, and time's up. Time is up. There's the whistle. Sub doesn't happen, or it did happen. She was in there. 18-1 on the shots. They got one shot attempt, 0.07 on the XG. Nice job on that. And 3-0. Yeah, this is what we expected to see this season. A lot of dominating performances. We're not massively dominating. I mean, it's Let's see, we should probably be congratulatory. There you go. That's not totally dominating. That's control. 3-0, that's comfortable control. Now, Premier League, yeah, you'd call that dominating, but at this kind of level, it's not that uncommon to see a team in control significantly better than another team. We were certainly in control, and it was definitely pretty comfortable and borderline dominating, but it could be far more dominating than that. So this team's still lacking. There's a reason why we weren't picked to win the league or anything. Skill-wise, it's not there. We're just, being carried in specific ways. But you can see some are growing quite well, like Black Panther here. And you can see that pace acceleration. We're getting a upward yellow tick for everything but flare, and then green, major uptick. Balance also, but acceleration, pace, improving, better. A couple of reasons for that. I think one of them, it's the double training. That's definitely one of them. But a better coach. We've got a better coach in there. So I think it's making a difference. I do think it's starting to make a difference because we were training it last year too. And it wasn't far outpacing the training of other areas. Just barely. So I think having a better coach is starting to help us out. And as we build that reputation up a little bit more, we should be able to find better and better coaches. Like I said, this season, though, is looking like we could be on cruise control compared to last season. So less hands-on this season, more hands-off. So I'm going to go ahead and push forward a month into the season, and let's see what happens with this team. First update is we were way down on cash. We started with $5 million, and we were right at it last season. We spent very little. We made very little. Finances were unchanged. But then we got the board to commit to increasing the youth facilities and our training facilities, and we spent $4.5 million. All of a sudden, we were down on cash. Also, we went professional, so I signed new contracts with every single player, and they all went from making less than $1,000 a year ago to making $11,000 to $16,000 this year. So we increased our spending by $150,000 for this season, and we didn't make any money last season. So, it was like, okay, we're going to lose money. We're definitely going to lose money, probably quite a bit. Well, that's been made up for now. We have a new injection of cash from Mr. Moneybags, Nick Fury, delivering $5.5 million. So we're back where we were, which means it's also perfectly timed that now into September, I'm going to go ahead and approach the board again and see if we can upgrade the stadium next, because we are not far away from our capacity already. I don't know what we're bringing in each game, but I did notice last season we were nearly at 50% capacity. We're playing in a higher division. Our reputation's higher. We more than doubled our season ticket sales from a year ago, 15 to 33. It's not like it's a big number, but that's 18 more. So you got to figure we're going to have about 25 more, 30 more, 40 more per game attendance, which means we are that much closer to our capacity, probably 60, 65, maybe 70%. And a stadium upgrade could take a while. So we want to get on that. And I'm sure that there is no City of Manchester stadium to just hand over to an incoming owner who's like, oh yeah, you got a free stadium that nobody wants to sit in. Well, we'll spend a ton of money, and maybe a few people will decide eventually that they want to sit in that stadium. Yeah, I don't know if they've ever had a sellout. It's not Old Trafford. Anyway, we'll check into that. We are not leading the league, by the way. We're only 4th place. So we've had a good start. 3 wins, 2 draws, no losses yet. We're not a bad team, but we're not as dominant, at least not when the assistant manager is managing the team. Different tactics that he has, even though he's trying to play our tactics, and he's just low level, low quality. So the Professor X manager has some decent quality to him, and it makes a real impact on how the team does, how they perform. So it looks like we need to have a little more hands-on, not skipping a month at a time. Certainly don't need to play out every match, but if we're going to win the league again this season, looks like I'm still going to need to be relatively hands-on, or at least we'll see. If we could start pulling ahead, pulling away, we can go to once every few matches or once every 4 matches that we play. That was only 4 that we skipped, and we drew 2 of them. Surprisingly, the attendance is actually right where it was a season ago. I think it was 104 last season. It's 103 right now. So realistically, we haven't progressed at all. It's still only 41% of the stadium capacity. So without that step up, I don't know if this is going to get approved, but I wouldn't see why a rich owner wouldn't want to accommodate future goals for the team. So we'll see what we can do about getting that pushed through. All right, capacity still under 50%. We've got to get a lot closer to 100% before they're going to approve that. I understand their reason. They're not convinced the fan base is big enough. It's not yet. It will be. So we're going to have to hold off, wait a little while on that one, and then we'll try again later on. And then, of course, we'll look for some sort of improvement. I'm not going to discuss with the board at this time. I'm not going to push my luck. We're not filling out the stadium. I get it. If we get to 75, 80%, I think we'll get an easy time pushing it through then. As for the squad, improvement has been rapid lately. We're seeing much higher rates of improvement than we saw last season. So again, I think this is coming primarily down to now being full-time. Even our goalkeeper, Storm, is starting to see her first 7s up here. Remember, she started at 5s. Thor, who was not improving, now is. We're seeing some 8s, a lot of 7s where there was a lot of 6s before. You can see even those 6s are improving. Wolverine back in the starting lineup, as I had Spider-Man in the position throughout the preseason. So Wolverine kind of getting a late start to his season is now picking up the pace, but we're starting to see a number of 8s there. Ant-Man, who was a lot of 6s, now looking at some 7s. Balance is a 9. It's the first 9 we've seen, I think. Black Panther, the physicals are mostly 8s. Black Widow starting to get there too, all 7s, and then a handful of 8s. Captain America was mostly 6s. Now there's just a few left. Cyclops still mostly 6s, but is improving. Is not starting, so it's hard for him to get time right now. Deadpool got some starts in there. Learned left back a little bit. Didn't know it hardly at all. Doctor Strange is back from his injury, by the way. And starting to pick up the pace again after being out for about a month. Gamora seeing some 9s, positioning, concentration, pace up to a 9. So she's a bit of a standout right now with minimum 7. And then even getting into the 8-9 range. Jean Grey, composure, 10. That's the first 10 that I have seen of anyone. I mean, we just saw our first 9. Now we see a 10 in composure for Jean Grey. Technical skills are lacking for her. Still quite a few 6s in there. But the mental and physical are doing quite well. Groot, mostly 8s in the physical. Hulk, the goalkeeper, who was still almost entirely 5s, is now improving very rapidly. 6s pretty much across the board. Getting to the point where actually can contribute, do something. Strength 7. Iron Man, another one who had stalled a bit. We're seeing some 7s and 8s. Nebula, 9 in acceleration, 9 in balance. Lots of 8s. Even in the technical attributes, starting to get some 8s. So Nebula is doing a bit better than most players in development. I'm not sure what it is about center mids. In my Youth Factory series, my center mids seem to develop a bit faster than my other positions. I don't know if there is anything to that, but seeing that same situation occur here. All right, well, the team is definitely progressing nicely. We're seeing kind of the next evolution of progression, and it seems to be happening faster than it was before. So I do think the full-time factor is starting to kick in. We have 2 months until those training facilities are done. I'm really excited for that one. We'll definitely get to that within the next episode. Hulk and Cyclops were both ridiculously on trials at other teams. I would never approve that, but it happened anyway. You see Deadpool right now, the only one who is not improving rapidly. I mean, look at the progress charts for everybody. We're seeing a big climb, a rapid climb. We're seeing real progress. It's down to minute details, but just over, this last month, that's what, I think a 2-month chart here since they've come back from preseason. This is a different team than it was a year ago. So yes, rate of progress is good. I think we're going to add the skill that we're lacking a little bit right now. So maybe the 4th place, even with the assistant manager, will be secure before the end of the season for those 2 reasons previously stated. 1, we're just 2 months away from the training facility upgrade, and 2, being full-time. The players are progressing. So far so good. Things are going well. The league position could be a little bit better, but overall, yeah, happy with where we're at. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.